Have you ever just heard something that you can't unhear? That just kind of fractures your mind in a way that you just have an aha moment? I had one today. I'm going to share that with you. It was someone talking about the reality that when people say it's better to give than get, it's a falsehood. And we'll just stop here for a second and we'll go through it. One, when somebody says that, they're usually somebody who benefits from the other people giving. But let's leave that aside and just go to the reality of just math, right? Not math in the sense of 1 + 1 is 2 necessarily, but math in the sense of just how life works. For every person that is giving a gift, somebody else has to be receiving it. So for giving to be important, receiving has to be equally important, right? Because if giving is so important, it doesn't work if the other person is not willing to get the thing that you're giving on the other side. Otherwise it just breaks. So in a world where you aren't willing to receive something to yourself, you're actively breaking the system. If you're only willing to give, there is somebody else in the world who will only have to receive, or percentage-wise that doesn't work out, right? It doesn't have to be a 1-to-1 like that. It can be different people receive a little bit more, spread it over time, but eventually you will not have anything left to give. And I can speak to that because that's the type of person I was. Like, that's the way I lived. I just continuously gave and gave and gave of myself because I loved to give, and I never received because I was uncomfortable with compliments, and I was uncomfortable with getting gifts, and it didn't work. Eventually, over time, especially if you're in a strained situation, you fracture and you break and you shatter as a person. But even more so than you, because if you're in the mindset, you're, of course, all of your thought process isn't about you and how this would affect you. It's about other people. And this is where I'm going to say this. This also affects other people. I robbed people of being able to have the pleasure of giving because I wasn't willing to receive, because I wasn't willing to accept and be great and grateful for being given something and be excited about receiving something. They couldn't have the joy of giving to me and to someone who loves you. They want to be able to give to you. So not only are you robbing yourself and eventually going to get to a crash, it may take years, it did me, but you will get there. So you have to come to a place where you are able to receive as much as you give, because that's where, like everything in life, life's a balance, right? So you have, like, and I know this is really simple, but for me today, this wasn't simple. This wasn't like, this was a moment of just, how did I not see that it's like a 1-to-1? How did I not see that if giving is so wonderful, receiving also has to be so wonderful? How did I get there? How did I not see that before? And so because I didn't see it till now, I figured somebody else out there might also benefit from it. And if not, it's a great reminder of what you already know. And you're good for you on knowing it. So what's the takeaway from this situation? Like, what is it that I am trying to get at? It's the idea of balance. Like in everything in life, you need balance. But in this particular situation, you need to start being okay to receive something. And it doesn't just be okay. You need to get to a place of, it's a good thing. When somebody says you look nice, you don't have to be uncomfortable, because you know what? You do look nice, and they're recognizing that and giving you that. If someone gives you a gift or does something for you, and you know deep down in your heart when someone cleans something for you, or especially as a mom or a woman in general, not having to do it and not having to think about it, like someone bringing a meal for you, is that you don't have to think about being grateful for, right? But even asking for something is a good place. And other things that you feel more uncomfortable with, get adventurous, because you know what? Being uncomfortable is where you grow. And don't stop somebody else's blessing of being able to give. It's not fun if the person doesn't like what you gave or is uncomfortable and is weird about it. So if someone says you look nice and you're like, at the other side of it, like, it makes them less inclined to be able to give you a compliment later. But let's be serious. If you are uncomfortable getting compliments, more than likely, you need them. In the sense of your soul needs to be told over and over, because let's be serious. I'm my own worst critic. And as a whole, I see that with other people. We need to unlearn things that we have learned. And one of those things is we need to be kind to ourselves. And part of that kindness is finding balance. Part of that kindness is saying, you know what? Giving is great, but so is receiving. So today, if you're like me and you're a person who continuously gives, your assignment today is find some place, some way to receive something and be happy and joyous about it. To maybe pause for a second and in a moment where you could give, allow someone else to give. That's it. That's the assignment for today. Try it out. See how you feel.